The Sonata brings big car ride comfort with settled suspension that ably absorbs bumps, making it the most comfortable car to ride in. But it is let down by a cheap-feeling interior with painted plastics that feel a little bit 2005. But it's let down a little bit by an automatic transmission that's just a tad off the pace. Tucking into the bends, the Sonata has a fairly slow steering rack and not a lot of steering feel, which means that you often find that you need to add more lock when you're cornering, and you also don't get quite as good a sensation of what's going on underneath. The Hyundai is comfortably the largest car in the group, and that extends to the rear, where there's loads of headroom and legroom, plenty of space to stretch out. The one problem I have with it though is that the front seat backs are made of hard plastic, which can be pretty annoying. The Sonata also has the biggest boot. With 510 litres of storage space and a full-size spare tyre, the Hyundai is the practical pick. On the whole, the Sonata is a very convincing package. It offers great value, an excellent engine, and plenty of space for people considering a mid-sized car. This generation Mazda6 has been among the best in its class for some time. Mazda's updated the car for 2015 with a new look inside and out and a couple of little tweaks designed to make the car more appealing. It has the same 2.5 litre 138 kilowatt and 250 Nm engine as before, returning outstanding fuel economy of 6.6 litres per 100 kilometres. That's a great figure, but it's one that we've struggled to match. The car's returned around 8.5 litres per 100 in testing here, which is not ideal, particularly if you're expecting the car to do mid-sixes. Conversely, the least efficient car in the group, the Hyundai Sonata, with an official fuel figure of 9.2 litres per 100, is returning around 9.5. So what you see is what you get with that car, whereas here, you've got a fuel figure that you may struggle to match in everyday driving. Mazda has an advantage in that its car is quite light. It's more than 100 kilos lighter than the Liberty and 200 kilos lighter than the Sonata, which really plays out on the road. The 6's engine and transmission put it in the middle of the road for this trio. It's not tardy, but it's also not too quick. It's a car that's been designed with efficiency in mind rather than exhilaration, and that's no bad thing for this class of vehicle. This generation of Mazda6 has been a dynamic darling of the mid-size car class, and that hasn't changed with the new model. It's quite accomplished on the road with predictable progressive steering, well-weighted brakes, and dependable suspension that mean you can really lean on it and enjoy it as a driver. Now, this car has one of the best cabins in its class with a driving position that puts you nice and low tucked into the car. You've got a great sporty steering wheel with paddles, some cool chocolate brown effects throughout the cabin, and a nice new touchscreen that's controlled by remote buttons down here as well. You get a bit of a feel similar to an Audi or a BMW. Like the Hyundai, the Mazda6 is a fairly large car, but it doesn't use its space quite as efficiently. Legroom is on par with the much smaller Liberty, and the headroom is quite a bit less thanks to a swooping roofline. Took sound readings from all three cars and found that the Mazda6 is consistently the noisiest car here. Now, the brand says it cut road noise in the new model by up to 25%, but we also did a back-to-back test with the previous model that really put that in doubt. They say good things can come in small packages, and that's certainly the case with the Subaru Liberty. It's the most compact car of our trio, but clever packaging means that it's got just as much room in the back as the Mazda6. The Liberty has well-weighted, accurate steering and confidence-inspiring grip that really do make it quite a joy in the corners. This car has a significant ace up its sleeve in what Subaru calls eyesight. It's a suite of active safety features mounted up here by the rear vision mirror that combines excellent technology such as active cruise control, lane departure warnings, and autonomous emergency braking to basically prevent you from having a crash. Without first-hand experience, it can be difficult to appreciate the value of active safety features such as autonomous emergency braking. Now, I've been to a few demonstrations for the technology, and believe me, it's a feature that really should factor when you're shopping for a new car. There are circumstances in which human reactions can't quite match what technology is capable of. The Liberty's interior is also much nicer than before, with some contrasting material. We've got some piano black and some satin silver finishing here, as well as a really cool grained aluminium-like texture throughout the cabin that looks pretty funky to me. The Subaru is the smallest car here, but there's plenty of room in the back. There's a lot of space for taller people to have a bit of headroom, and the front seats are sculpted away nicely so that there's somewhere to put your legs.